So you want to be a paid professional speaker. Well, here's rule number 3 of 13 that I've promised. I've been recording and I've been uploading to my Sales Culture YouTube channel because everyone's in sales. And if you want to be a speaker, you better realize and come to grip and come to terms with that you're in sales too. That was actually rule number 1. Here's rule number 3. Your keynote alone will not keep you going forever. You've got to diversify. So for example, I look at my business as I create content based on my experiences, my professional and personal life. Well, mostly my work life, but I mean, I see a lot of things in my personal life that lend credibility to my content. And I build workshops and I build new keynotes and I build half-day workshops, full-day workshops, and I have worked very long and hard at creating content that builds on the keynote. So my core keynote, for example, is everyone's in sales, building a sales culture. But you know how hard it is to do that same keynote 50, 60, 70, 80 times a year? It's really hard. And frankly, it's a little boring. So here's the deal. A lot of my appearances, right? I do about 80 a year. A lot of my appearances are for multi-day, well, sometimes one day, but multi-day workshops. You have to learn to build new offerings off of your core content. Again, build a workshop, half day, full day, 2 days. Develop exercises, consult with somebody that knows what they're doing in terms of how to build exercises, how to engage people, if that's not something you're comfortable doing. Well, then, of course, you also diversify income, right, by writing books. I've written 5. Let me be very clear about books. I never wrote them with this hope that I was going to be, oh my gosh, some bestseller. And because let me tell you, writing a book is not all it's cracked up to be. I mean, I loved doing it and they're great validation and they're a calling card, a business card, if you will. And yes, they drive some revenue, but they're not my main source of revenue and don't count on them to be your main source of revenue. What else can you do to build revenue that reinforces, that validates, that adds credibility to your core message, right? That keynote that you've built and that keynote that you're going to continually revise and update based on what you learn from your audiences, based on the feedback you get. Just because you think it's a great keynote doesn't mean your audiences are going to think it's a great keynote. So you have to constantly be open to feedback and understanding what's resonating and what isn't. Diversify, diversify, diversify. The best speakers I know, right? They have multiple streams of income. They learned early on, as did I, from people like them, that a keynote will not carry you forever. Listen, and even if you don't want to do workshops, even if you only say, look, I just want to be a main stage keynote person or, even a small stage. So part of this is, and I'll get to this rule later, is, check your ego at the door. An appearance is an appearance. And if people are willing to invite you into their home, that is a gift, right? You go and you deliver that message with the same intensity and integrity, credibility and excitement and passion, whether it's 10,000 people or 10 people, it doesn't matter. But let me get back to rule number 3. Diversify your income streams. So figure out where and how you can make money, right? That reinforces your income. Again, like I said, I've written books. I do sell my books. I don't make a lot of money on my books. I mean, again, I did them as a way to validate and add credibility to what I'm doing. Maybe you want to do a podcast and try to monetize that. I have a YouTube channel, obviously. Now, I haven't monetized that. I put that out there, again, to reinforce my other core work, which in terms of my actual offerings in front of people, I've diversified those to the point where everything else I do reinforces somebody's, hopefully interest in hitting that, going to my website and hitting that book now button or sending me an email or whatever it might be. Diversify, diversify your income. What else can you do that you can monetize that adds value to your customer base, opens up new doors? And oh, by the way, you know, everything else kind of flows into it. I'll just say it one more time because you got to say things 3 to 7 times. Your one keynote will not, in all likelihood, be the only thing that drives income throughout your entire paid professional speaking career. You got to park that belief that that's the be all and end all. If you're not constantly revising, updating, rewriting, redoing, and creating new, your speaking career is going to be really short. I'm Todd Cohen. Hey, I'm closing in on 20,000 subscribers. Would you hit notify? Would you hit subscribe? Would you hit like? All those buttons down there. And if you want to be a paid professional speaker, I'm putting all this out there for nothing. I'm not charging for it because I want to help, because there are a ton of really bad speaker coaches out there who take a lot of money from you. And frankly, I've never seen any of them, or very few of them, actually deliver. So this is number three. Yeah, number 3 of 13 rules. I'm going to get them all out there in the next week to 2 weeks, I think. It's July 5th. I'm leaving today to do a keynote, half-day workshop, and then I'll be back. Stay tuned. Hit subscribe. You want to be a paid professional speaker? Start here.